Yeah, I think in the National Football League, when you're -3 plus turnover on downs, you run into the kicker, you across the board, that's not a formula. And so that formula is for failure and nothing else. And I think, you know, there was a lot of preparation for week one, and I don't think it looked it. What does that mean? That means that guys let week one and the bells and whistles of the season starting get the best of them. My job is to prevent that. You know, I did my best, not good enough. So you have 2 games in 11 days, and that's what you do with it. The National Football League teaches tough lessons. You know, I think we're a much better team than we played today, or than we displayed today, but that doesn't matter either. You know, you have to play good football. So when you play bad football, you have 20 minutes less of time of possession. You don't take the ball away. You don't put them in the offense in negative situations. You don't take care of the ball. You know, it's a young team having to learn some very hard lessons, and that's what the league's about. It's all about the ebbs and flows. You can't overcook a success, and you can't overcook a failure. You have to continue to learn from things and look at the tape, and it will be a very, very critical day tomorrow to be accountable so that we can, with absolute certainty, learn from it. Otherwise, you just sit in this, and I don't think that's an option. So we got 2 games in 11 days, no time to sulk. But yes, it was not the way I think our team wanted things to go for sure, and they got some strong humility today.
Like any game is a test, I understand that, but losing the way you did today, does that make the challenge that much harder for you, for the players?
You know, in circumstances it can. I think in this circumstance, I think it's, you know, it's very black and white and obvious, more so than I would like just to the players of the things that we've worked on, the way we've looked, their technique and fundamentals, and how they were lacking in the game. So, there's week one, regardless, you're either crowned or shunned, and that's something that I think we have in our own control, the observation of how things play out. If you take your I think, quite honestly, the way we lost probably is an overall better way to learn an absolute lesson that never changes. If you ever let the game be bigger, or the desire for achievement to be bigger than the nuts and bolts of execution, and not dropping people in protection, not overrunning tackles, these things, you're going to have those results. But I think the biggest thing is that our captains, I think understand. They could feel it during the game, and I'm very motivated to get together with the team, watch the tape, and keep it real and get ready for our next opponent, home game against the New England Patriots, because they're not going to feel sorry for us in the least, nor should they. Hmm? Yeah, like I said before, I don't see this job void of pressure. I don't see entitlement in this job. But, I'm not. I think the most important thing is that I worry about doing my job. So I think that's what the team will get from me for sure.
I guess how would you evaluate Tua's?
Without watching the tape, it was something that that it was left to be desired. I think it's definitely not all on him. There's just throws that I know he makes 9 times out of 10, and he didn't make them today. But that being said, it's hard to play quarterback when you have surprise pressures, meaning that they're blitzing, but you think it's accounted for, and then somebody doesn't pick it up, or you have people coming out the huddle the wrong way when they had been nailing it for a week on a week plus, really, stuff we've been working on. So, it's like the rest of the team, I would say, but definitely not all on him at all. There's too many people that failed at their execution of their jobs for him to even have any extra on his shoulders. But I would say that it, like the rest of the team, wasn't good enough to win football games in the National Football League, and I think that was obvious. Well, there wasn't a theme. There was one play where there was a really just a mental mistake of going the wrong way from a lineman. That was probably the only one. I thought they played solid, but it wasn't that it was that exotic. It was that a running back or a receiver didn't do the responsibility on the play that we emphasized a lot. What does that mean? That means that guys weren't focused on the right things, and the most difficult thing as a coach is you can see focus, but you don't know what's going on inside a person's mind. And sometimes you find out the hard way, like we did today. So it was just collective execution on things that were surprising me live speed. So I think guys needed, obviously they needed to experience that, and we have a choice. We can change it or we can be the same. But I don't think this locker room and the collection of players is based upon my interactions with them. The taste is terrible, and they're eager to fix it. So we'll come back to work tomorrow and start the process again on what we should have this week. And we have 11 days, 2 games, 2 division opponents. So the time is now to focus in on our jobs, and if we want different results, we have to play football together in a different manner. I think really from a blitz pattern perspective, there wasn't one blitz that we didn't rep, so that's kind of the disappointing part. There's always coverage nuances, and I think kind of in line with what a lot of the league's doing. There's some coverage adjustments that we had a plan for, and the plays for the plan ultimately didn't get executed, and it's my job to make sure that they get executed. So I have a lot to do as a leader, but then I have a lot of leaders within the locker room that that I depend on, that need to see this the right way, and I think we will. It's something that the league is. The National Football League gives you hard lessons, and if you collectively have any leaks in your football, they'll get exposed, and they did today. Hats off to the Colts. They took advantage of every little mistake and leaned on us, and whether it was offensive issues or getting off the field, the running into the punter, offsides. There was a second and forever where we got a defensive holding, which is an automatic first down. All those things. It was the collection. It was a collection of how to lose football games in the National Football League. So we got a great lesson and pretty much covered all the bases. So we have one direction to go, and it's going to be through work and nothing else.
Talking about moments that didn't go your way, there's a sequence late in the game when you had a 12-man in the huddle penalty when you were in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And a few plays after you scored, you were lining up to go for two, and you had to run a timeout. The camera showed you kind of throwing up your arms. And one of the announcers kind of surmised that, kind of summarized the day for you guys. Is that fair? Do you
Yeah.
think it did?
Yeah, it did. It did. It was, a collection of things that, you only correct if you have well-intentioned coaches and players that are ready to be accountable. And so far, that's what they've shown me of themselves. And I'll get the opportunity to see how they respond with this team in particular, with the lights on of the regular season. So I think a lot of guys really kind of new. It's a rough experience, but one that we most certainly needed, apparently, and we'll have to use for good use moving forward. I'll find out more information on both. Storm, it was an ankle. James, it was a pec, but I don't know how severe either one are, so we'll find some more information out. Well, I think it's more of these in the National Football League with starting quarterbacks. There's already enough I would say pressure on them. With Tua, it's not settling for anything but exact reasons or whys in his game, and we've had good games, we've had bad games, but the biggest thing is we learn from things. I hoped we'd learned week one lessons, but it was the first time of extended play for a lot of guys in a game setting, and you either leave feeling that your game was appropriately displayed, or you leave feeling like, what was that? I think generally with Tua, he's very, very prideful in his craft. So games where he can find as many controllables and many things that he can be like, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have lost one, or I should have stayed with number two, or whatever the things are. He's very good about attacking issues and problems whenever his performance isn't up to his standards. So I have no doubt that he's going to come back and be the leader we need and the player we need during the week, like a lot of guys who are going to be disappointed with the film. But again, it's not on Tua. There was a couple plays that I think he should have been better on for sure, but collectively it wouldn't have been a good enough outing had he played lights out based upon all the other players on the field and their lack of execution.
Last question.
What was that? Yeah, I'll have to take a look at the tape in terms of, you know, within the drop. There's a lot of zone responsibilities, and sometimes, you know, a safety, what it looked like live speed, was that he didn't have the help he was supposed to have. But you know, I'll take a look at the film. It was there was a lot of frustration on that particular play. One thing we hadn't done thus far is drop to eligibles. So I'll get to the tape and assess accountability for that. I think it was a group effort of failure, starting with communication, and the communication was wrong for the entire side of the field. So it was a trickle down effect, and the safety could have saved the play, but it wasn't solely on him.
Thanks, Mike.